Hello and welcome to the Comic-spiracy, episode 524 for the week of November 22nd, 2021. I forgot what month it was. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
And Kevin. I can
Hello,
finally
hello.
say it. I can finally say it.
You did it. We did it. How's everyone?
I'm here. I'm functioning.
Busy, yeah. Definitely thanks to Brock and Toby, who I wish was here to give some thoughts, and Marshall and Seth and a little bit of Lane, a little bit of Kevin for coming out on Saturday for our signing with actor and bodybuilder Lou Ferrigno. What a fun event that was.
Yeah, a nice guy.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this podcast and you came out, thank you very much. Yeah, we had a pretty decent turnout. You never quite sure how these things are going to turn out, but it was we had probably, so it's tough because you have some people that was just one person and some people that were a family of like 3 or 4 people. We had, I'd say, about 125 people come through for the signing, which
that sounds pretty close. Yeah,
which I think that's
it was consistent. Like we weren't swamped really at any given time.
There was like maybe 20, 25 people right at the beginning, and then it was just like group. There were a couple points where we got a few people, like a few groups all at a time, but people got their time to spend with him and talk to him, and he's not the most talkative person on earth, but we actually during some little downtimes,
he's real talkative too.
Well, we get to talk to him
about
quite a bit
about some insider information on
like everything, when you get very bored about talking about your job because it's the only thing you talk about and it's the only thing you ever want to talk about. So when people talk to you about other interests of yours, you're like, oh, this other thing I like.
Yeah.
So him and Toby obviously bonded over Apple stuff.
Yeah, I got a great some great pictures of Toby like explaining to Apple products.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, obviously he's in Hollywood, right? So so the filmmaking capability of some of the products is super interesting to him, and they were having a grand old time talking about stuff kind of in between people coming through. Leanne stopped by with one of her dogs, and the greatest picture on earth is a Lou Ferrigno with my like 12-pound dog, Penny, who he absolutely loved.
Who was wearing a Superman sweater.
Yeah. I don't have any Hulk sweaters. I'm sorry.
Ryan, my personal highlight was you and Ferrigno talking bodybuilding when you guys had the gun show.
Oh, yeah.
He seemed really engaged.
There was a point where it was him and someone else, I can't remember, and I was like, you guys are both like I just like at 70, he's in better shape than I would be my entire life combined. Like
I had one guy tell me outside, he's like, oh, he's not as big as he used to be. I'm like,
he's 70 years old.
You do realize muscle mass doesn't stay, right? Like,
yeah,
you can build and build and build, but no matter what, it's going to go away.
Yeah, but don't work. Like, so he was talking at one point with us about how he had torn some like ligament or tendon in his. Yeah. No, he was talking about in one of his biceps.
Yeah,
and he like rolled up his sleeve. Dude's still okay. Yeah. Like, dude still works out. He's fine. So, he can
still crush you.
Oh, well, that's what I was like. Brock's gonna man the door. He'll man the crowd. Someone gets out of line. I don't even know if you need him, but Brock's here for you. So I'm sure he'd still kill all of us if he wanted to. Dude is very tall and still very big. Those pictures you sent over of all of us at the end of Brock were really good. When we kind of did like the group shot with Poop still there and your kids and everything. And yeah, he's still, we're all about 6 feet, 6 and a inch or 2 on either side. And he still has a good number of inches on us. So he is not a small man at all. Super, super friendly.
Yeah. I was surprised. I'm like, you should have seen if you wanted to be on our stupid podcast.
It's all good.
You don't advertise this very well.
It's fine. It's fine. There's so much other stuff to do. But thank you everyone for coming out too. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was. And guys, always at conventions. He's a staple, like every little cons. So, but when it's at a store and you get a couple extra minutes, you're not paying on a bunch more money on top of everything else too. So I think
it's more of it's more like the seeing a band at a smaller venue, right? Like it's a more intimate experience. Like it's a more of like personalized experience. Whereas when you're at a con, it's kind of just the cattle call and just go.
And I think he's I'm sure at most conventions, he's probably been around long enough that I'm sure if you want to talk to him for a couple of minutes, I'm sure you're good. But a place like this, you definitely get a much more up close and you get a little bit more time if you want it. So,
and look, signings kind of. So, maybe we'll have some more of those. Toby's pretty good at running a table.
That's why I put everyone where I know they're going to be the most effective because that's what he does. Toby's ran con tables for years for Lord and other people. So that's what he does. So we got a couple topics tonight. I think a couple questions. Kevin's going to peace out a little early, and then we're going to wrap up. Me and Brock have both seen Shang-Chi. We're going to talk about that briefly
for
at the end.
An added free bonus from the thing I already pay for, even though I would have willingly played the $30.
Yeah, it's finally out on Disney Plus. So we'll have a couple words. Do want to start though, because we got our official updates here for the only official Comichron sales charts for September 2021. Kevin, you
snuck the sales charts in here on us.
You locked in.
Wow.
I forgot to post it on the group, but that's okay because I got it all set up here.
It in here.
Wait, I'm sorry. The Bay Area internet, I think, is
is it going out again?
I can't hear or see any of you. Well, peace out, guys.
We'll go nice and quick. The problem is, obviously things are even worse now with Diamond being down, and there's just so much trouble with, you
guys talked about that ransomware stuff. I wasn't able to be on last week. But.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, there's that. There's split now between Lunar and Penguin Random House and Diamond. So, man, the guys over at Comichron are having a hell of a time trying to get the stuff sorted up. But they've still got their methods. They've still got their ways, and I like.
Hey, they haven't thrown in the towel yet, man. They're trying to get us some good, solid data.
Yeah, I mean, and they do a good job. Comichron.com. Make sure you check them out. I always post when they every month when they post about how it's the record-breaking comic sales month. I always have to retweet and just say, "But I thought comics were dying." Yeah, it's just the same thing every month because comics are forever dying. But Brock, if you can remember all the way back in September, it was so long ago. I don't know if you can remember a couple comics that came out that month. Kevin, feel free to jump in too.
Batman's on the list.
I was gonna say you can always go. You can always start with
Batman.
You can always start with RST, LN, and E, and just go with what they do now in Wheel, and just you start with those guys.
Are you saying Batman is the RST?
There's a couple characters that would be the RST, LN, E. We're just going to give those ones to you, and Batman, Star Wars, and Spider-Man seem to be topping the list pretty regularly. Batman. Again, estimates coming in here at the number 5 and number 6 spot for issues 112 and 113 at about 115,000 copies each.
Sounds right.
So those are the two Bat titles. I gave you a few more of the others there if you want.
Star Wars High Republic.
So not in the top 10, at least not anymore. However, Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunter.
War of the Bounty Hunters,
still topping the charts at an estimate 149,000 copies, number 1 unit wise. And that, it's weird. I don't. That book sells well, but not higher than High Republic, and definitely not higher than some of these other books. So
it was the number 1, right?
That's number 1 for.
But yeah, that was the number 1 for the War of the Bounty Hunters. That was like. Probably had store exclusives and
this is issue number 4.
Oh, 4! Wow!
But it is the number 1 book of the month. Yeah, no, I'm pretty surprised that it's still that high.
Is it the first appearance of a new bounty hunter?
I don't remember there being anything like super special about issue 4. I'd have to go back and look and see where 3 and 2 landed. I mean, obviously number 1 in the special makes sense, but I'm a little surprised that this is still so high. And of course, Spider-Man being the other one always seems to be on the chart somewhere. Issue 73 and 74, getting about 138,000, 122,000. That's the number 2 book and number 4 book. And we're going to pretty soon, like half or more of the sales chart is going to be Amazing Spider-Man, assuming the numbers continue. Because Spider-Man is going weekly, including like point issues. There is I think I've ordered like 7 issues of Spider-Man that haven't shipped yet. I don't like it's great if you're a Spider-Man fan, I guess, but like holy shit, there's going to be a ton of Amazing Spider-Man. There already is, and there's going to be a ton on the sales charts every single month, I assume.
Maybe, probably.
So what slots are left?
So we got number 3. It's a big book. It's a Marvel book. It's the start of
Dark Ages.
Oh, Dark Ages is on here. Number 7.
Hulk.
Hulk is not out yet. Hulk got delayed.
Oh, did it?
Hulk comes out next week. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. Or this week.
This isn't Venom 200, is it?
No. Venom was already done and on break. Dark Ages number 1 is the number 7 book at 111,000 copies.
Okay.
Number 2.
Is it a Marvel book?
It's a Marvel book. It's kind of an event book. It's sure is the wrap up of a story
Inferno.
That's nowhere near done. Inferno number 1. Yes.
Okay.
Hickman's attempt to quickly wrap up his X-Men run. 135,000 copies at number 3. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. These are going to be tough. I'll give you a couple hints. Number 8 is Spider-Man related.
Spider-Man adjacent.
Venom related. It's a wonderful series of one-shots because 6 one-shots is how you sell a miniseries.
It's not King in Black.
No.
It's not Darkhold.
No. It would be Extreme Carnage Toxin.
Oh, dear God.
And again, huh?
Yeah, like we didn't have very many of those.
Let's see. So this is 100,000 copies for Extreme Carnage Toxin number 1. I'm going to scroll down to where I actually see a book that we ordered fewer of. I'm in the 30s. I'm in the 40s.
Wait for it.
I'm in the 50s.
Wait for it.
I'm in the 60s.
Stay on target.
I'm in the 70s.
Really stay on target.
I'm
giving
in
up.
The 80s.
I'm done.
Okay, Army of Darkness 1979. Oh, no, I believe we may have ordered more of that because there were a bunch of variant covers on that.
We ordered more of Army of Darkness 1979.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they had a ton of variant covers. Yeah, we definitely had some people to get it. I mean, like, the Extreme Carnage stuff did okay, but, like, not...
Nobody cared.
No. Yeah, no, nobody cared. Number 9 is not a Marvel book, not a DC book. It's the only one on this list.
It's Department of Truth.
No.
Something is killing the children.
Nope. But it is a license. They've spent plenty of time in Gotham City, and with some recent crossovers. However, this might as well be a Batman book. It's
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Last Ronin.
It's ripping off Dark Knight. So yes, TMNT Last Ronin, number 4 at 97,000 copies. Now the number 10 book.
Okay, here we go.
Very specific reason I want to stop and talk about this for a second, because I have asked Marvel and DC, especially post-pandemic, but this is not a new comic. This is an old comic that is on here. And I really hope Marvel and DC continue to understand how important it is to get whatever you consider classic comics back into print. Because
I know which one this is.
Every kid deserves a chance to buy a copy of Amazing Fantasy 15 or Incredible Hulk 181 or
Ultimate Spider-Man
or Ultimate Comics Fallout number 4,
which
is the number 10 book, which is the reprint of the first appearance of Miles Morales. I ordered more of this than
Deadpool.
Almost every book on this list. I think Batman and Inferno we ordered more of, but
you definitely ordered more than any other book
on this list. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying any of the other facsimiles. This is the one you ordered.
No. Oh, no. Amazing Fantasy 15,
Punisher,
Incredible Hulk 181. Like I ordered like hundreds of those.
We sold out of those 181s.
Oh yeah, long time ago. Yeah, it is crazy to me that Marvel and DC don't have their just keep this. Why would you not have Detective Comics 27 perennially in print as like a facsimile edition?
Yeah,
it'll always sell. Always. Why like Amazing Fantasy 15, Hulk 181, like all these classic books. So you don't have to have like hundreds of them out at one time, but like just cycle through every month, put something new, something back in print. They sell. They sell like crazy. We have that spinner rack, and people are just like, oh, it's the first appearance of, right, with all the shows coming up, right? Why wouldn't you have right now facsimiles of the first appearance of Hawkeye, the first appearance of Moon Knight, the first appearance of She-Hulk, the first appearance of, what else?
Black Adam,
JSA, Black Adam, Stargirl, Flash, right? Like, just keep that stuff around for those people. Could if there was a copy of Detective Comics 27, there was a facsimile, I would just sell that over and over and over and over and over.
Because even on even with the superhero Blu-ray specials and stuff like that, they'll go into like character dives and stuff like that, but they won't include the comics in there. But they'll say first appearance down there. But it's like nobody can go and grab a quick, easy copy of that unless they're reading it digitally, right? Yeah. Which is fine, right? You can just go grab a copy digitally off Comixology or something, but if you can actually just grab a copy, like you said, and be like, "Ooh, look, I can actually get one and hold one. It's tangible."
Yeah. To me, it's just crazy that they that they don't have these regularly in print. And again, I don't have to have everything available at all times, but just keep cycling through your best first appearances, and people will buy them forever. Yep. Now, our top 10 list for comic books sold in the month of September 2021 is not horribly off. I mean, a little bit more slanted towards DC, some of the stuff that we do better with. But it's funny because our number one book is actually House of Slaughter #1, and that did not come out because that was we did a pre-sale thing. So ignore that. That will come back up next month. But our top 10 sold comics.
I rang that up.
Yeah. Our top 10 sold comics outside of a special order for House of Slaughter is Batman #12, Batman Catwoman #7, Batman Fear State Alpha, the one shot, Batman 113. Those are the top 4. So yes, Batman sells very well. Dark Ages #1, again, terrific book. Tom Taylor.
And that's even with the butchering of Penguin Random House's shipping of that.
So that's one of the. Is that the first?
Yeah, that was the first week. Dark Ages was their first week with that book, and all of the copies got mangled. Remember?
Was that the first week, or was that just? I mean, they were all damaged, but was that?
That was the first week.
I don't think that was.
Yeah, that was the first week. Because remember, Dark Ages came through Penguin Random House, but the Darkhold book didn't, because it was still on Diamond's thing. That was that weird split. It was the first week.
Oh, I don't remember. I know a lot of ours came damaged, and they still sold incredibly well. #7 was Inferno #1. #8 was Rorschach #12. #9 was Joker #8 was Joker #7. #9 was Ultimate Comics Fallout. #4, again, that's in the month of sale, and that's one of our best top 10 comics. And #11, or #10, I should say, was X-Men #3. So yes, definitely good month for comics there.
Oh, I guess Penguin Random House was #2.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was later. I think those all came damaged from Diamond. But a lot of them came damaged. We did get replacement copies, so we were able to get better copies for customers.
Yeah, because it was right. They started in October. That was why. It was right around that time.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say it's like it had been not long. So I had the list here. There's some kind of notable ones that were definitely maybe I think a little bit under the radar. Death of Doctor Strange coming in #15 for the for the industry. The Demon Days Curse Web, that's one of the Pitch Momoko one shots. So a couple of books a little bit lower than I expected. Yeah, so something's weird because Extreme Carnage Omega, which is like the final part of it, was 62,000 copies, like way down the list here. Like 40,
it was probably a store exclusive cover.
There's got to be something. There's got to be something with that Toxin issue. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why that one was so high. Yeah. There's got to be something. Yeah, all the rest are down here, like nowhere near as high. So. Yeah, someone must have done some exclusives or something weird. Decent comic sales and Comichron posted numbers seem to be very positive for the industry. It's definitely a pretty good month for comics. So that aside,
the only coverage it shows is the connecting one, the symbiote variant, the connecting one, the tan variant, and the young variant. It doesn't seem to have anything else attached to it.
Yeah, like I said, there must have been a store exclusive or something, because that's a ton of copies more than everything else. So the only other comic news we have, and this is pretty strange. This really came out of nowhere. It makes sense after the news we heard a few weeks ago, though. IDW, which had all the Marvel and Disney kids titles, so the Marvel Ages or the Marvel action stuff and the Star Wars Adventures.
Yeah.
Suddenly, out of nowhere, canceled everything.
Yep,
everything canceled. Well, at least we know partly why. And that is because at least Star Wars, the all ages Star Wars comics, is going to Dark Horse.
What?
Which is where Star Wars used to be. Now, this is not the Star Wars comics, so the Star Wars stuff that Marvel's publishing is still being published by Marvel. But now the all ages Star Wars adventure stuff is going to Dark Horse. For some reason, it's so I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand.
Why isn't Marvel just doing it?
I would. They just don't have the. They don't have the people. They don't have the interest. That's got to be why. I don't know why they switched from IDW. It makes no sense. But Dark Horse must have put up a hell of a. I mean, they do well with IDW. IDW publishes a ton of kids' books, a ton of licensed stuff. So I don't know why they switched to Dark Horse, but. They must have given them some reason. So I don't know.
At least the Star Wars kids books are going to be back with new number ones and starting over again.
Yeah, but I'm assuming it's different creators, different storylines, different story arcs. Yeah, it's like it's so weird. I mean, Disney has regularly not published stuff. I mean, they license their products out to all sorts of companies for all sorts of things, so that's not surprising. But they take a huge portion, I'm assuming. But like, I don't get why I switch away from IDW. It doesn't.
Nostalgia?
Well, IDW has a regular release of single issue kids comics.
Yeah.
Dark Horse doesn't. They do the Avatar books, and they do other kids stuff, but it's almost
mainly straight graphic novel, like not necessarily single issues and stuff like that. Like
almost no.
Like if they're gonna go maybe more of a graphic novel approach and just do straight graphic novel releases.
I
mean, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know that they've comics and graphic novels. I mean, that's just what it says. So they're gonna do a little bit of everything. But yeah, I'm very confused why. Look, licensing deals end and they move on. But like, I don't know what the. So with the Marvel Action line, I guess I kind of get it, because that thing just. I don't know what IDW's problem is. Maybe they have other issues where they're just having trouble getting stuff produced, because it feels like the Marvel Action line just started and stopped so many times, and they couldn't get anything going.
So I've been ordering the Marvel Action line for my kids for the past 3 years, right? It's been with IDW.
Oh, more than that.
More than that little. So like when I think once IDW took over, I was starting to get like the Star Wars books, and I started
the Star Wars
Marvel
ones have been. They've done, they've restarted once, but they've been pretty consistent.
They've been pretty consistent. But like I started getting the Marvel Action. I was like, okay, and I'd go to order out of it, and I'm like, all right, issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 1 again. What?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even this. Like it might be the same character, or nope, we killed it. We're starting a new character, and so okay, well, I'll order issue 1 and 2 and 3, and then they'll have a new number 1 with a new character, and you're like, what? Yeah. And it just looks like this really awkward ordering thing where it's like, I'm going in, I'm just ordering Marvel Action so I can get Marvel Action so the kids can read it. I don't care the characters. It's just so they have something to read, right? And
right,
they keep changing it based on character, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, new number 1s aren't going to sell more on this book. Just having the character on the cover is going to sell the book. Because, hey, it's a Captain Marvel one, I'll grab that issue.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Black Panther one, I'll grab that issue. Oh, it's Hulk, I'll grab that. Like, yeah, I don't know. And then they kept trying to pump, like, Spider-Man and the Miles Morales one. And it's like, what's going on here? It was just all over the place.
Yeah, the Spider-Man one became the Spider-Man family book. I've talked about this multiple times on social media, and I pray someone's listening. It's just outrageous that there isn't I'll just use Adventure because that's a good tag, and both Marvel and DC have used that. I don't know why there's not a monthly Batman Adventures, Wonder Woman Adventures, and DC Universe Adventures. Why there's not a monthly Spider-Man Adventure, Marvel Universe Adventure, and Star Wars Adventure title. They could all be non-numbered one-off stories, standalone, no story arcs, just one-off books, whatever character, whatever adventure you want to use for the issue, keep them around, keep them available, reprint the stuff, do collections obviously as well, but get more of the single issue comics stuff out there for kids. They just kind of grab whatever. I mean, if you want to do story arcs and specials like that, that's fine. But I
don't mind it when it's like a mini, right? When it's like, you can advertise it in that, and then it's like, hey,
but just like series of minis, like it's just
the endless. Series of minis just doesn't.
No, it's so frustrating, and like every company does this. All the Mike Mignola Dark Horse Hellboy stuff is just endlessly confusing. When Star Wars started that way at Dark Horse, remember they were a series of miniseries, and it was like, no, this is horrible. Just I hate that whole idea. I hate the series of miniseries thing. Just with the kid stuff, there's no continuity. You don't need it. Yeah, sure.
On the inside, put the issue number.
You don't even. I mean, yeah, sure. You can have it internally numbered, but you don't even need like any sort of issue number on the outside. If it's just a one-off,
you can just do October of 2021. You can do January of 2022. Like,
yeah, you don't even really need that. Just one-off stories that exist in this sort of perennially current universe, and just. Yeah, no one's looking, like the Simpsons comic ran for hundreds of issues with no real story arcs, right? There was multiple, Archie's done that for 80 years.
Disney Books did that for...
Yeah. And the issue number is kind of meaningless, right?
Wait, are you talking about an outreach to new readers with easily accessible stories that they can buy? Whoa.
He's talking about getting the starter drug going. I mean,
this is crazy talk, man.
It is.
It's got to be an insular community of middle-aged fanboys. No newcomers. It should be like an old clubhouse with a "No Girls Allowed" sign out on the front.
Well, I've posted about this. Look, not every parent's got $15 to drop on a $10 or $15 to drop on a graphic novel, but $3 or $4, it's a little easier. They're disposable, to the parents. It's cheap, something they grab. Even at $3 or $4, it's cheaper than a graphic novel. There's not any sort of
the paper stock doesn't even need to be the best paper stock. You can just get the nice,
of course. just normal
newsprint stuff, and make it a $3 book and call it a day. Like,
yeah. I'll like the Archie books are generally $2.99, and Archie. So Archie, obviously, they've sort of reformed other stuff again, but this is exactly what they've done. They have an Archie and a Betty and Veronica series that is basically like I don't know if it's every month. It might be every other month, but it's sort of like a Halloween issue.
It's like a seasonal thing.
Yeah, it's like a Halloween issue, a Christmas issue.
Here's the spring break issue. Here's the winter issue. Here's
right,
They base it off of like whatever a school holiday is, right?
Sure, exactly,
right.
Exactly.
Like,
and so there's, I'd say maybe 6 or 8 a year or something like that. And they're great too because they keep them around. We can reorder them. They're perennial. They're just kind of sell whenever, and they're something anyone can grab. I understand there will be points with something like Spider-Man or Batman where things may kind of come and go. You never would have expected to see a Spider-Gwen anything 10 years ago, let alone, 25 years ago. So, like, the books can change with the audience around it, but, like, it doesn't have to be any sort of, like, ongoing plot or continuity. Not for these books. Not for these books. And you have just a general Marvel universe and DC universe where they could just every book can be a different character doing a different. Doesn't matter what Adam it is. Doesn't matter what Batgirl it is.
You can like have a who's who page at the end that kind of just
it doesn't matter what
hey, this character was in here. Here's their who's page. Like
Yeah, any sort of Wolverine. Like there's all sorts of characters that you don't have to go to any sort of regular continuity. It could be the movie version, the cartoon version, just something just like, hey, this is recognizable. So yeah, to me, it's crazy.
That's also a great vehicle for where you bring in DC Comics Presents and Marvel Team Up, because then a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. If you have Superman and Spider-Man on a cover of a kid's book, even if it's teamed up with Nova or Swamp Thing or something where they're not going to know what that is.
Right.
Spider-Man is the hook.
Right. And, and I don't mind. Look, if you want to have 3 or 4 books, you can have your ongoing adventure with numbering and continuity in their own, set in its own little universe. That's fine, but also have a kind of a free form singular volume of just stuff anyone can grab. So
we've talked about like Brave and the Bold for DC, right? Like Marvel Tales for
something like that. With the kids stuff moving over to Dark Horse, they've said, the comics are continuity, but I don't know how that works with the adventure stuff. I don't know if they acknowledge
the Star Wars kids stuff.
Yeah.
So the Star Wars kids stuff, I've read the high adventure stuff. I haven't read the other ones, but at least the high adventure stuff, it's like you're reading stuff that's at the Padawan level, right? You're reading stories about the Padawans that are in that universe. So they're keeping it where it's within the High Republic era, but you're just viewing like some of the smaller characters that you've seen in the High Republic books and comics. You're just following those characters in the adventures stories. So they retain some of the continuity and canon, but they're able to just kind of tell smaller, like kid-friendly stories with those characters.
But are they considering it part of... do you know if they're considering that stuff canon?
The High Republic stuff, yes. All of that stuff is connected.
Okay.
Because, again, they have that kind of Padawan and Jedi thing going on, and they're more streamlined. It's the kid story. So it would be like... It's kind of like what like Clone Wars was doing for Ahsoka, right? Like, her character kind of started out as a young adult kid character. I mean, she's grown obviously into, more of a serious character, but this is kind of like where they start, so to speak.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure like how because the Marvel comics are continuity. I wasn't sure if that extended out here. And then does Dark Horse follow that? Do they do their own thing? So it's like, look, it's all pointless anyway, but it is an interesting question. And I don't know I don't know if they're just going to pick up
I'm
those
just waiting
story
for those
arcs,
random. I'm just waiting for those random like kid Star Wars books to be the first appearance of somebody that everyone goes nuts for.
Well, they did. That's the Darksaber is from one of those Dark Horse Star Wars, Clone Wars kids graphic novels.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's where the Darksaber and I think one other character appear in that book, and that's what it's from. And yeah, it's like $1,000 book now. So, because it's not even a comic, right? It's like the little digest size graphic novel. So, all right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's pretty strange. Got a little movie TV news here before we'll do. You got I think I only got one question. We got a couple. We got a couple questions. I got a couple questions, but before we do that, we'll hit up our one last news story here. I know, Nico. I know we're almost done. Oh, my poor dog. Our good friend Scott Snyder, friend of the podcast, Scott Snyder, had a comic come out called Nocterra with Tony Daniel from Image Comics.
Uh-huh.
And they are now adapting a television, Netflix is adapting a television adaptation of Nocterra. So this is going to be a TV series, on Netflix, hopefully more than one season, as is Netflix's normal cancellation rate. But I'm just going to read this here straight from CBR. It says the series is being spearheaded by Robert Patino as part of his new multi-year overall deal with Netflix. Patino will serve as the writer, showrunner, and executive producer. And he's partnering with Aquaman director James Wan's Atomic Monster, his production company, with Wan, Michael Clear, and Robert Hackett as EPs. So that's cool. I mean, we'd heard a little while ago that there was something coming for Nocterra, and this is it. So yeah, officially announced as part of they'll have a Netflix adaptation. So that's cool news. Nocterra has been a fun book so far. I've liked it.
That's where we get the trench finally.
Yeah, it is kind of not too far off from the trench, right? The Nocterra, what do they call it? The shadows? Is that what they call it?
I don't remember. It's like I read the first handful of issues. I haven't gotten back to it. So. Oh
yeah, I've finished the first arc. Yeah, because they've been on their break now. So going. Oh, Shades. Yeah, the Shades.
That's
it's they're on their break before the next story arc, and that's fun. It's a fun book, just high concept, just super easy, just super simple concept done well. Escape from the giant monsters. Always fun.
Can't really go wrong with simple concepts done well.
Yeah.
I found the Darksaber debut. That's the Star Wars, the Clone Wars Defenders of the Lost Temple #1.
Yeah, I think there's something else in that book too.
It's the first Bo-Katan.
Yeah,
and he becomes the leader of Death Watch in full armor, face not seen. But man, remember when Star Wars #42 was like a $200 book?
Star Wars #42.
It's the first appearance of Boba Fett.
The original. Oh, that book's super expensive.
Yeah, it's pushing $1,000 now.
Yeah, the first comic appearance of Boba Fett. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's super.
I
pricey.
I remember seeing it when I worked at Elusive, and they put it on their wall for $200, and it was a decent shaped copy. I'm like, man, $200 for Boba Fett, that's not bad. And now I'm like, yeah, that was really not bad.
Yeah, a couple of those Star Wars books from the Marvel run are very pricey now, more so than just the #1.
Some of the Dark Horse ones are getting up there too.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them that are real pricey. I was saying for years I couldn't give that stuff away. The Dark Horse Star Wars books we have in quarter bins, and people wouldn't buy them. And now they're all money, like every single one. It's crazy. Not related to Netflix specifically, but we're talking about streaming shows. We just finished episode 2. I guess a bit of a tangent. No spoilers before we go on to our questions here. But so related to streaming television, 2 episodes into Why the Last Man. That is not a good show. It's
Why don't you like it?
I'm gonna keep. Do either of you watch it?
I've watched about four or five episodes.
Okay.
I made a vow to finish Sweet Tooth for this show. That is being finished before anything new
Sweet
is
Tooth
starting.
is really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have about 2 left.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, shit, I gotta start watching it.
Yeah. We said for the end of the year wrap up, that would be watched. So get on it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I'm not full review here. Well, I'll wait till I actually finish the show. Then maybe we'll talk about why. It just feels like it has like no budget. Like they're like glossing over stuff. They're kind of half want to be Walking Dead, but it's not, because there's still 3.5 billion people on Earth. There's lots of like people looking out windows, and you don't actually see anything, and then they skip to like months later, and then there's like, oh, society's crumbling, and there's like 10 people attacking the White House. It's weirdly like a lot of side characters running around doing nothing that I don't care about yet. So I don't remember any of this from the comic.
The comic, I think, had more of an impact because it was making a commentary on the fact that we don't have women in key roles in society, and I think that in the show, it doesn't come across like it doesn't necessarily come across the same way, because there's I had some issue with like, okay, all the men die.
Well,
there's still a shit ton of women, but it feels like there's nobody around.
Well, that's what I mean. It feels like it's Walking Dead when there's still 3.5 billion people on Earth.
Yeah. 300 billion people. 3 billion people. And a guy with a monkey. Come on.
Yeah, more than half of the people are still alive. The thing that was crazy is not once in the 2 episodes has any character said, all the men have died. They have not acknowledged this fact. Not once in the first 2 episodes. Like, I know what's happening. And I don't know if they were like, oh, we don't need to acknowledge it. But like, so they just don't. It's like they don't mention.
So what it
events.
Is? No, they're.
It's real weird.
They're doing. It's part of us. It's part of something that's tied in with I think a thread that runs through a certain group in the show.
I mean, the president or the new president or all the people when all the men are dying, they're not like, nobody acknowledges this, what is happening. They're like, oh, is it an attack? No, and at no point does someone go, it's just the men. Like there's not an acknowledgement of the events happening. It's very weird.
They get more.
York's an asshole, and I'm like, why am I rooting for him to get back with his girlfriend? Like,
York's a weird character in this.
Dickhead in this,
and his sister's even weirder because in the comic, her sister doesn't show up until the end.
I don't. I was going to say, I don't remember any of this.
Well, she's there briefly at the beginning, and then she disappears for most of the comic, and then is back. But this, they kind of are making her more of a forefront, because they're bringing in, and I think addressing more of that like transgender, like explanation, right? It's because all the women who became men are still alive. Right. Because it's only affecting the Y chromosome. But yeah, there's definitely something in the show that I think it kind of adds to it as you go, but I can see why there was a lot of times in that show I was like, okay, you held on to this shot way too long. Why did I need to see this? And you obviously saw the scene where he goes into this like flooded subway.
For some reason?
It's like
why did he go into that subway?
Yeah.
I thought his monkey was down there, but like, he's like walks in and he immediately walks out, and he's like walking around naked. It's like, dude, grab some clothes and change to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get in. I don't understand. Like, I'll finish it. Me and Leanne, it's our, like, we have just, like, rotating night show / lunchtime dinner show. And, like, we burn through stuff all the time. We just finished, Squid Game. We finished Alice in Borderlands. That is one anime-ass show. Alice in Borderlands is pretty good, but it's fucking anime. It's like crazy. It's like I don't even want to watch. I don't even want to watch a Cowboy Bebop. This was a live action anime. It's pretty good. It's pretty great. But
I did check out Wheel of Time.
Is that any good?
It's okay.
Yeah.
I really wanted it to be more Game of Thrones-ish, but I think it's more CW MTV fantasy, which, like, I'll watch episode 2 probably tonight and see like where I'm at with it. But it did not engage me completely. But hey, it's got a second season coming, so.
Yeah, with Y, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if there's a second season, I mean, no big loss, really. It's not that good.
Well, I mean, it's not like there's much that really goes on in Y. If Warner Brothers wanted to finish out the season, they just have to get us to, what is it, issue 60?
It could be great, but I just don't know. Couple questions. Kevin, you can jet out of here, and then I only got a couple, but and then you can jet out, and then we can talk Shang-Chi real quick. This is the good thing you're here, Kevin, because this is the question to ask. Rodrigo wants to know, are any of us going to San Diego Comic-Con Special Edition? Well,
yes. So you will next hear from me on this show post San Diego, which will be, I guess, 2 weeks from now.
So you're going this weekend, and when is Emerald City? A couple of weeks?
Yeah, Emerald City's the
week after. Yes,
I believe Emerald City is the 5th, 6th, 7th of. Or no, 3rd, 4th, 5th of.
It's the weekend after.
It's the following weekend. So when you're back on the podcast is the weekend that Emerald will have finished up.
Lane will be at Emerald the following weekend. We are dividing our forces.
Yeah, so you're going to Comic-Con and he's going to Emerald City. So yeah, I'm curious about both. I thought I saw they're expecting about 50,000 people at Comic-Con, which feels obviously tiny for Comic-Con, but huge for a con that nobody's going to be at.
There was an interview in Forbes today or yesterday with one of the co-presidents of Comic-Con, and they were asking him. He said that their hope was, and anybody who wants to read about this can look it up on Forbes.com. He was mentioning their hope was 30 to 40,000 tickets. That was their pie in the sky optimism, and they've got apparently 50. So, and the museum is also opening that same weekend.
Right.
So I'll have a report on hopefully all of this.
Yeah, that's cool.
What museum is this one again?
The Comic-Con Museum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've had like a virtual museum for a couple of years now, but this is like their actual
physical building. Yeah,
this is a permanent installation, right?
Yes, but this is being called the soft opening,
right?
And then the real one is 22.
Okay,
cool.
So
have fun. Have fun with some turkey sandwich leftover food over the weekend.
Yeah, it sounded like a lot of people were bowing out of Comic-Con, but people are going to the other potentially smaller shows.
Right.
So
what does Comic-Con normally get?
$250,000. All said and done, not tickets sold. I think they may cap out at
like 150, somewhere around there.
Yeah. I think if you count the people that are there, not like the people that are there working and the people that are there outside that are at the convention but not physically going in.
Yeah, the outer convention stuff.
Yeah, numbers I've heard are between paid tickets, workers, and the outside stuff, 250 to 300,000, maybe more. I don't know. It's a lot of people, but yeah, I've heard roughly $250,000.
Well, for this year, what I'm curious about is, I mean, Emerald City has a packed guest list, as it does every year, and this year as well. The Artist Alley at San Diego is not the size that it is on a normal year, but it is significantly bigger than what I would have guessed it would be. And the exciting thing is, and depending how you look at it, you could say exciting or disappointing. The exciting thing for me, the way I'm going to choose to look at it, is because a lot of big names are not attending, and a lot of the rep agencies where they bring, 3, 5, 10 artists are not going to be there. Artist Alley has a ton of names that when I was looking, I've never heard of half of these people. Like, I don't mean never seen their work. I mean, never heard of. Mm-hmm. And so I think it'll be an interesting, because now Artist Alley tables that normally would be completely booked because certain agencies will buy 10 tables. Now with them not being there, there are 10 tables that wouldn't have been available. So a lot of artists who have not been able to make the cut can now get in. So I'll be exposed to a whole new roster of people.
You'll have to get another section for your,
No. Next.
And I know at least a couple customers got tickets to this and are going. And I said, what's good about that is I believe you're now in the system for next year.
Yep.
For potentially a real Comic-Con because you have tickets for this. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I said potentially if they give those people, you have first crack at the next one. So even if they only get in for 1 or 2 days of this, they're at least in the system.
Yep.
And I don't know what they do for people that skipped this year or couldn't go. If you had those holdover tickets from 2020, 2021, and you want to just roll it into 2022. So I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to work out. But
you probably just take the bulk of 2019, 2020, and 2021 tickets and say, you're our pool.
Yeah, it's just there's only so many people that they can let in, and that might be a bigger. I assume the 2020 numbers were very small, but if they sold 50,000 here, that's not small.
Well, the 2020 numbers were 0, right?
Yeah. Well, but I mean the people that had
rolled over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know because they were going to they were trying to do something and they didn't. So I don't know
because I had my badge and then didn't have it.
Right.
But wait, was the listener's question just is anyone going?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought there was some other.
No. But
Kevin is going and being exposed to a lot more artists, and that's a good thing,
sir.
That's how I'm choosing to look at it because Lane is going to be carrying my cash to Emerald City for the known names.
Well, this is going to be our first con review in 2 years.
Right,
so
I know, yeah.
we'll have 2 con reviews. See if I can get Lane on here too to talk about Emerald City.
Yeah.
So excited.
Here, I'll do Lane talking about Emerald City. It was okay. All right, next.
Final question comes from Jimmy. He says, are we living in a 90s revival for comic books? Ben Reilly is Spider-Man. The X-Men animated series is back. Michael Keaton is Batman. What 90s trope or trend do you guys want brought back? Batman the animated series, the Brown Coat Avengers. Well, Batman the animated series is coming back. Yeah. That's what are they calling it? Is it just called Batman the animated series again? It's called something. Dark. I can't remember.
Comic?
I could look it up.
No, the show.
Yeah, there's a new kind of modernized version of Batman the animated series.
So it's not as gritty?
Well, no, it's going to be dark as hell.
Nice.
Well, the Ryan Higgins pick for this has to be Speedball, right?
We're getting a Sandman Netflix show.
What?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
and people kind of mistake. I mean, the majority of Sandman... Well, yeah, the majority of Sandman was published in the 90s. Yep. Yeah, because it started in 88. So, I
ran to what, 95?
Was in the 90s. Yeah, 94 maybe. Yeah, because I ran 75 issues. So, maybe 95. Well, again, a mistake people make is 90s variant covers. Not like this.
No. 90s variant covers was never, ever like this.
There were variant covers, but it was like,
here's the gold version. Here's the silver version.
Of this one thing, right?
Sandman was January 89 to March of 96.
It was 89. Oh, January. Okay.
Yeah.
The variant cover was like, the gold foil Avenger cover was direct market only, and the newsstand had a regular cover, or like, there was the Thor Legends of the Dark Knight covers, but that was it. There was
we have the book polybagged with 5 different cards in it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's not the Return of the 90s. It's a Return of the 90s times 1,000.
Oh god, variant covers today. People are like, "That's not the 90s." Like, nope.
Yeah, no, it's so different. But it's the same. It's the same. It's kind of that path, but it's so much more than it was then. But yeah, no. All those kids in the 90s are adults now, man. Spawn's one of the best-selling comics. We're getting that's early 2000s, but we're getting a new Matrix movie. We're getting Star Wars prequel revival stuff. Yeah, all the 90s kids and early aughts kids.
We don't need prequel revival stuff.
They're all in control now. So sorry, we're old. We're out. The 80s revival's over.
We don't need prequel revival stuff.
Get ready for all those 90s kids.
To answer his question about something you'd want to see back, I would love to see not a series, but maybe a one shot, a OGN or something. The Invisibles, like set now.
Bring Morrison back for that. Oh God, what the hell?
What would the 2021 version of that team?
What would he have to say?
Yeah, just an annual or something.
Yeah, no, it's.
I want a ginormous Jim Lee event book with everything he did in the 90s. I want Wildcats in there, X-Men in there, like Death Blow. I want all of it. I just want a Jim Lee like explosion of story and art and all that stuff. That's what I want. There's my nerd intake or my 90 to nerd input.
I think if I had to, what would be my? If I have a 90s,
we already did it. It's New Warriors, right? It's make them relevant again.
They are the new heroes for the 90s, man. Yeah, I would kill for New Warriors. But
hashtag snowflakes.
But something that I think could actually happen, and I would want to see. God, yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, it has to be Vertigo. I just want Vertigo back. I want that early 90s Vertigo back. I want an extension of the Invisibles. I want that
back.
I mean, look, if they want to go back and hit every classic franchise to relaunch Vertigo, I'm down for it. But like, I would kill to have like real Vertigo back. They really should.
Just get rid of that black label. And
you could even if they played it right. They could even do a Vertigo version of those retroactive books, those one shots, and get every team from the old Vertigo back for a single issue. So the Changing Man, Invisibles, Sandman, et cetera, but get the same writer and artist, and just the commitment is you do like one double size issue story.
Yeah.
Where are they now?
Wait, can we at least get Starman printed?
We got the first compendium.
That's not Vertigo.
We got the first compendium.
It's not out yet. Yeah. Until I have it in my hand.
It's out.
The Starman compendium came out months ago.
When did? Oh, did we just not? I just never saw it.
Yeah, no, we've got it. We should still have it. I mean, I've reordered it a couple times already.
Oh, yeah, maybe I just didn't see it.
Yeah, no, it's humongous. Yeah.
I'll have to look.
That's what I want. Yeah, I have a feeling we're due for like an Age of Apocalypse. Well, so I know there's rumors of Death of Superman next year being the 30th anniversary. So some
Kevin, is that disappointment? Is that facepalm for disappointment?
We've done it.
We're killing off his son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we break Nightwing's back while we're at it too.
some Death of Superman
you
anniversary.
You have to break Nightwing's butt, not his back. You have to break his butt.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they would do that, but I think look, they don't have to kill Superman, but a Death of Superman like retrospective thing, a big Doomsday arc.
How about we get a combination of what happened or Death of Superman, right? Not Zack Snyder, but we get a Dark Knight Returns Death of Superman.
There's got to be some way to do it. I think they'll.
I just have to see Booster Gold get the shit beat out of him. That's just what I want to see. And then he goes armored because he's a chicken shit.
I will defend the hell out of both the entire Death of Superman era, all that whole line of books.
The Reign of Superman,
till Death and Return. They're great. And Nightfall too. I will defend both of those. Nightfall is fantastic.
I wasn't saying anything negative about them. I was just my point was we've already done that.
Yeah.
Like, let's not just play the same old hits.
Yeah. No.
What else can you do moving forward with it?
Yeah. I don't think they will. I don't mind like an acknowledgement in retrospective, but if they have a new story, but I think they can do stuff with Doomsday and. Yeah. That era, they can bring back, they could team up Steel and Superboy and the Eradicator.
What are your guys' feelings on taking something that's like all established and then just telling it again, just not necessarily modernizing it, but like bringing the because there's that certain camp to the Death of Superman books, right? Like they're at that like epitome of just comic book. Like storytelling, they did an amazing job with it, right?
I don't think they're not campy. I mean, they're not. Look, it's not Sandman, but it's like
it's not campy in like it's not campy in like Batman 66. I'm saying it's like it's very straight. Just
it's comic book,
sure. Right? Like this is more tropey, I guess you could say. But like take it and make it like Dark Knight spin it, or give us, give us some like the more realistic version. Like give us the Death of if Superman died today, how would that look?
I don't need a black label Death of Superman that's all like R-rated. I feel like that's too. That's
your destruction porn right there, man.
Yeah, that just feels too mean spirited. Like I don't need to see like just pages of Superman getting like. Brutally murdered. Like the comic book nature of the Death of Superman was fine.
Yeah,
I don't need 20 pages of him just being fucking eviscerated.
Right,
like,
agreed.
By like Simon Bisley or something like that. Like it just. I don't need that.
I don't want to see the Death of Superman presented as Miracle Man 15.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what the black label would be.
Yeah. Right. I don't want.
But while we're at it, we could bring back Electric Superman too.
Oh.
Whatever happened to Red Superman?
If we get JLA, that's what we need. Morrison needs to come back and do JLA. That's what I want.
Like a one shot?
Like
a mini?
Yeah. Oh, it'd be so good. Howard Porter's still doing some pretty good art. You could do that.
Yeah.
Get a JLA Invincibles crossover.
All right.
Is it Shang-Chi time?
Yeah. Now you could take off whenever you got, Kevin. I know you got to leave early. But I will real briefly before you leave, Kevin. I will say this. So there will be spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen it yet. What was I going to say? Last week we watched the first half of it, or like a little over half of it, and I told you the scene that I stopped at, and you were like, oh. You're like, I want to know what you think about the rest of the movie. Because up to that point, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good.
I will listen. I will listen after the fact to hear what you thought of the rest of the movie.
Okay.
I just won't be hearing it live while you're saying it.
Okay.
But Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah,
and I'll see everyone on the flip side of Comic-Con.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Be safe down at Comic-Con. Keep that mask on, and have fun.
Yep. I'm worried about my wallet more than my own health. I know how to protect myself. It's the other part that I'm gonna. All right, guys.
All right. Later, guys.
Lit.
So we watched. Me and Leon watched it, and we got to the part where one of the parts they're just starting to go to like, you know, fantasy Chinaland, and and I was like, I was liking it. I was like, yeah, okay, this is actiony, and you know, I like the
You're talking about the scene with the car. When they're driving the car into the bamboo forest?
Yeah, that must have been right. I think that was the scene that we
because right before that is let's talk to the butt fuzz creature. That the only reason that's a butt, like there's no face on that creature, is because nobody could agree on what face to give it, and so they just said let's just make it a fuzz face.
Okay,
I mean that's my thought process.
I can't remember.
It's the Mandarin in the dungeon stuff.
Did we get to the Mandarin before we paused it? The Iron Man Mandarin?
I think we didn't get to magical China.
Yeah, it was right when they got in the car and they were driving through the forest.
Yeah,
Is that?
I think we stopped before that.
Yeah. So
did you see the map or no?
Yeah.
The water map.
Yes.
Okay, and then you stopped it after the water map.
That sounds right.
And then your brand new movie started. With the Mandarin.
Correct. And then we turned it back on, and I was like, is this... Did I...
You're watching Shang-Chi.
What?
And The Legend of the Ten Rings. Before you were watching Steven. And
Sean?
Sean. You were watching Sean and his semi-Asian normal life.
So I didn't hate the movie, but what a not great turn in back half. If you wanted to do a fantasy wushu wire fu movie, but by all means, and this is, you know, again, I was trying to not pay the most attention when the spoiler talk was going on, but obviously I do remember this being with Kevin particularly a bit of a sticking point, that Shang-Chi just takes such a dramatic turn as to what type of movie it is. There's fun stuff in the first part. I think there's a fun movie.
I was laughing. I was enjoying like the moments that were happening. Like when they go to the fight club scene, I was like, "Oh, okay, this is cool, right?" Like,
the
bus scene was awesome, except it wasn't realistic.
The bus scene was really good. Yeah, I wouldn't say I was laughing, but it was it was fun. I don't think it was funny, but it was definitely a fun movie. But the whiplash in the back half, and you know, I don't want to Leanne's complaints as it just becomes another CG mess of nonsense, and that all these movies eventually devolve into, and I agree to it to a point. I'm fine with it for the most part, but yeah, I don't know if this is just Disney or the directors just had massively conflicting ideas of what they wanted this to be, or they had some sort of like Wizard of Oz plan to just have this become a completely different movie. I don't. It's just not put together very well.
The hardest part, I think, is because there was plenty of opportunity for them to explore this world in the beginning of the movie when we're touching base on the parents and their relationship establishing and all that stuff. But we don't. It's like they meet at this location and she goes away with him, and then he becomes a better person, and then his past catches up to him, and it kills her.
Well, it's weird that they're like these two fantasy comic book characters that become like normal humans for some reason. It's a weird, like their whole relationship makes no sense. The whole thing was dumb. If there's a good thing, is that we'll have a third attempt to do the Mandarin, so we can actually have the Mandarin, like the Mandarin, the character from the comic book, because this also was not the Mandarin in any way, shape, or form. So that's cool. At least we could try this a third time. I hated the bracelets. I fucking hated them. They looked horrible. I thought they looked stupid as hell.
They weren't practical. Like it was.
They were stupid.
To me, it was like, so they fit when they need to, and they expand when they need to, and they like.
And they just become like, it becomes like some weird like Star Wars lightsaber fight at the end.
It's like it's Whiplash with rings.
Yeah. The idea. So in the comics, look, I'm not going to claim to be like the biggest Mandarin super fan or anything like that, but I've read enough comic books with him. And maybe this, I don't know. I'm a Green Lantern and Legion fan, so I just got a thing for rings. But the idea that they have these 10 power rings to kind of do different things is super cool. These were extremely boring, generic, like bracelets that I guess
have to come in groups of 5 to be able to be used.
Made him jump like the Hulk occasionally, and sort of were a power blast. I guess like extraordinarily boring.
Yeah,
they were like, it was like an incredibly boring power. Like it's just, the rings are awesome because they all do different things. Like they're cool.
Well, they're supposed to.
Yeah, these were just. I hated the really really disliked the power set. His whole, and you're like, the dude's. Can you not see all the fucking demons coming out when he's cracking this thing? I mean, is this guy that dumb? I mean, are they saying he's being mind controlled by like the dragon thing? Because like, do you never look up when he's like breaking the rock at the end? Like, do you see what's happening? Like, I don't know, like why he's falling. Like, it doesn't make any. No, I guess that grief stricken. I guess, but like,
well, the thing is, the odd part is
plan makes no sense.
His grief, like, why is it this significant? Like, why is it significant now that this creature can talk to him? Why couldn't the creature talk to him years ago? Like, there was no, it's like, I hear your mother, I see your mother. It's like, no, mom's dead. You need to get over it. And it was like, it seemed more like he needed to be put into like a mental institution, you know, for hallucinating or something besides like, oh, now I've gone back to being the leader of the 10 rings, and because my wife died how many years ago? Like 15 years ago or something?
Yeah. I look, I didn't mind Shang-Chi. I didn't mind his sister. His friend was kind of annoying, but whatever, that's fine. I mean, she's the
comic relief.
She's the meow meow of this one. But it's fine.
You mean she's a cat, Denny?
That's just it's just the same character. That you have the slightly annoying human in every movie now. So yeah, just okay, that's fine, whatever. But yeah, it just. There was potential there. I thought the bus scene was cool. The fight scene with the stuff was at the early part was pretty good. I mean, I don't know why Wong and
Abomination
is like totally for no reason.
I would think that was like a weird part of like why are Wong and Abomination like there? What?
Yeah,
and then they go back to the same place, and you're like, huh?
Yeah, it's like okay. I mean, I guess the other Asian guy in the Marvel universe will be involved in this. Like, not Doctor Strange, but okay, sure, that's fine. And like I like Wong well enough. I'm super excited for Doctor Strange. I like him quite a bit, but like, why is he in this? So it's not great. Not great.
I think for me, what summed up this movie is that awkward end credit scene, where it's Shang, his friend, Wong, Carol Danvers, and Mark Ruffalo in an arm sling.
Yeah,
and it's kind of just like
Hulk. It's like his Hulk got his arm busted, right, in Infinity War.
Yeah,
is that what it was?
Yeah,
it's like Hulk doesn't like Thanos break his arm or something.
No, remember it fries his hand because he does the snap.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right.
So that's why his arm's in the sling, and I'm like, okay, but he was in Hulk form when he did that. So anyway, never mind.
Okay.
But just the awkwardness of that scene. Welcome to you are now part of this, and it's like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta take care of something in space, and it's like, yeah, she does that, and it's like, huh?
Yeah,
it was just like that to me summarized the whole movie, and just like, okay, like
what they have I mean, I guess okay, it's the superpower thing from space. They want other people kind of involved in it. Okay, that's fine, but it was just like, it's not exciting anymore.
It was a non-end credit scene that was just kind of like meh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the one with his sister was more intriguing because like, oh, what is she doing? Right. Like that's adding to something potentially that can happen in the universe.
Yeah,
the other one
is you saw that coming a mile away. You saw it. She's now the Mandarin. Okay.
You saw it coming a mile away, but at least it's like, hey, we're pushing it. This is where the direction we're going. Right. Like it's like it Shang-Chi will return. Well, that was kind of the Shang-Chi will return scene. Like we,
Yeah.
It to me
the Infinity Gauntlet. They're not right.
Yeah, no, it's.
I mean, if they're trying to set these up to be like, oh, the all powerful rings, it's like, okay, I guess they're very dull. Yeah, it's like a C. And maybe like a C plus. It's okay. The first half is fine.
Well, no,
the first half is fun.
Each half is good on its own. Like
kinda
the stuff when they're in the Marvel Pokemon universe, like it's fine for what it is, right?
Yeah,
it's like if that was just the whole movie of like we're defending.
Yeah, that's an Iron Fist movie,
right? Like you're like, okay, fine, like that's. But it's when you put the two together, you're just like,
no, it doesn't. It doesn't work.
This doesn't fit, right?
Yeah, they're two totally different movies, and they're just completely different tone, and
this is just because I'm from the Bay Area and I know this, but that Munibus was not authentic.
Well, someone was like, "Oh yeah, the most unbelievable thing is how clean the Munibus was."
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
It's like, that thing. Munibuses are not that clean. Even off the assembly line.
Yeah. Look, I didn't hate it, but it was just very generic and not Shang-Chi in any way, shape, or form, which is fine. I mean, it's a Marvel movie, so they're now not in any way like the comic book character, so that's fine. But it just didn't really work for me. It was okay. I would not go out of my way to like watch it again. Sure, of course I'm gonna watch it if they do a sequel. Yeah, why not? But like,
I mean, I'll probably watch it with my kids.
It's I mean, I'm sure they'll enjoy it well enough.
I think they'll enjoy it. It'll be entertaining enough for them.
Man, and look, I mean, I know this is like a super obvious dig, but when he pops up on that dragon and it looks exactly like the scene in Never Ending Story, I almost started laughing because I'm like, look, you don't have to tell me about Never Ending Story. I love that song, but I was just like, I mean, that has to be on purpose, right? They must have done that intentionally to look exactly like Neverending Story, which I guess is fine, but it also looks kind of goofy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's like maybe two halves of a decent movie in here, but it just doesn't work together as a single movie. It's I was enjoying the first half. I was legitimately enjoying the first half.
Well, I think it was just, there was so much going on in the movie. You're establishing the father, you're establishing the parents' relationship.
That's fine.
You're establishing but that stuff was the stuff that was kind of working and all that stuff. But it's like once you got kind of this. The dad's basically gone psycho crazy.
Yeah.
Even though technically he would have been psycho crazy a long time ago because of his wife's death. It's like,
yeah. Well, one part that I really did like on this in this movie was that he was hiding, right? He knew this entire time he had this power. Like if he was like, oh, I've awoken this power within me, like fuck out of here, so I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm glad like him and his sister knew exactly what was going on. They were always like this. They know exactly, that worked. And I think that's why I kind of liked the first half.
It was very subtle. Like he wakes up, right? And what does he do? He trains.
Yeah.
But then what does he do? He goes and parks cars.
Yeah.
And he hangs out with his goofy friend and he does karaoke and he's doing all these weird things. But why was he training? Like there was that, like they did a good job with that. Right.
Yeah. Simu Liu is perfectly fine in the role. I had no problem. I just think you keep it a street level martial arts movie with superpowers. You keep it like the first half an hour, first 40 minutes, and that's the movie. If you want to go full Iron Fist and Kunlun and dragons and fantasy and Wire Fu, and then that's a different movie. That's not the first 40 minutes. It'd be like watching like a Jackie Chan movie. We were talking about Police Story the other day, which is great. And then like suddenly he's in the past and fighting dragons, and you're like, what the fuck? Like how did this happen? Like it's just it just doesn't. It's just tonal whiplash, and it just did not work as a complete picture for me. But I mean, there's enjoyable parts to it, but just.
I mean, if I would have paid $30 for streaming, I would have been like, nah. I would have been like, eh.
I would have had the buyer's remorse.
It was like Black Widow was like, okay.
Black Widow was fine. I like Black Widow more than
Shang-Chi, you would have been like, okay, and then you were.
Yeah, I like Black Widow more than this.
No, I know, but like the buyer's remorse, right? You're further down, and then so Eternals, you're sitting.
And then Eternals comes out.
Then you're sitting at this Eternals thing, and it's like, all right, where am I going to be?
Do I want to buy it?
Do I want to buy it?
Yeah.
But
I would have.
We don't get that, and it's like I don't even know if I'm going to be seeing Spider-Man in the theaters. Like,
I mean, I told myself that I'm just not going to do anything till next year, so. We'll see how I'm feeling when Batman comes out. That'd be my first. That'd be my first one. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was too many things shoved into one movie, and it just didn't work as a whole. As a parts, it works okay, but not as a whole.
Yeah. I think there's fun to be had, and there's enjoyment in there, and the characters are fine. They're just more Marvel characters. So. But it's just does not work as a complete picture. Which is unfortunate because I think they could have made a kick-ass kung fu movie, and they decided to not. So what are you gonna do?
Sell merchandise because we got to sell, faceless, furry, winged creatures that can talk to crazy actor men.
And I don't even like. What's his name?
Ben Kingsley?
But what are they? Fake Mandarin?
Yeah, the court jester, fake Mandarin. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Jeffrey was his name. Jeffrey.
I can't remember what his name is. I'm just so like disconnected by the time he's like really doing stuff that I'm like, sure, I guess.
Well, he plays dead very well.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I don't even hate it. It's just like. All right.
He's here.
I mean, I guess we're going to find a way to explain this. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, it's just not. It's just nothing. Like,
well, in points, you kind of get kind of okay, she's good at driving a car and drifting, so of course she does a good job getting them, through the obstacle course that is the bamboo changing forest. Right.
Pretty sure when you park cars, you don't take joyrides around the city unless you're the
I know.
Unless you're the car attendants in Ferris Bueller. So
yeah.
But
that was the part that, again, you got your Neverending Story, you got your Ferris Bueller in there, you got like True Lies in there, you got like a bunch of different movie things in there that I think, were just shoved in there. Just
maybe that was intentional. I don't know.
I just needed more. I just needed more. Just dudes with weapon arms.
He was. Could have been much worse.
We already have a handful of those already. We got Winter Soldier, Claw, and whatever. What was his name?
Taserface. Oh, in this?
Yeah. Was Taserface one too? Oh yeah, Taserface was one.
What the hell's the guy's name? She had it written on the side. Well, I mean, he's a real character. He also had it written on the side of his car for some reason.
Razorback?
Razor Fist?
Razor Fist?
Yeah, Razor Fist. Yeah.
Woo.
Sure. I mean, he's a real Shang-Chi villain, so that's cool.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. It's all right.
I like that. Like I don't remember his name, but he's on the Daily Show, and he was the guy in the fighting arena.
Yeah. What's the guy in the Daily Show that was on it? That was in it. Ronnie Chang. Yeah.
That guy is hilarious.
Yeah, Leo was like, "Is that Ronnie Chang?" And I'm like, "I don't think so." And I'm like, "Is it? Yeah. Oh, it is."
Yeah, and he's just straight Ronnie Chang in that part, and you're just like, "Yes, I'm here for it."
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. It was fine. It's just fine.
It's just fine. It's
just fine. When the hell does
Eternals drop for free?
No. When the hell does Hellboy? Jesus, Hellboy.
Spider-Man?
No. When the hell does Hawkeye come out? Is that this week?
It's next week.
Next week?
Yeah, I think isn't it December?
Hawkeye. Sure. We'll get to that eventually too. All right, that's it. We got nothing else to say.
Oh no, I guess it is the 24th.
Yeah, I thought it was this week. Yeah, it's Wednesday, right?
It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh.
See if I make it through the first episode.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Whoa, Jesus Christ.
Thank you all. Count. We'll do a bro count on the show.
Thank you all. Ding, ding, ding. Every time. Thank you all for listening to the Comicsspiracy podcast. We have some wonderful backers. There's some new backers that we're going to be bringing in next week. Next episode. Oh no, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, our December episode. We got some new backers to talk about. So remember, if you want to kick us a couple bucks, you can go over to patreon.com/comicconspiracy, and we'll give you some shout outs here or pimp your stuff if you want us to. Like our good friends Joe Duff, Craig Anderson at clearpathcoaches.com, Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum podcast. Check that out. And our good friend Talon Bray. Thank you all very much for your long time and continued support. And everyone else that supports us at every level over at patreon.com/comicconspiracy. Backers, you've got a Q&A thread in there. Go drop some cues to get aid.
Don't ever say that again. Just don't.
We'll do a couple of episodes. We'll bank
you will
them.
Never be hip again. Just accept it.
Square.
Jesus Christ.
Head over to
Leanne, smack him.
Head over to comicconspiracypodcast.com, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify for all the previous episodes. You can go to comicsconspiracy.biz to pick up some comics and other items that we have for sale in our store. For
so much shift to ship out.
For pickup or shipping. Brock, give Brock a steady paycheck here. He's a shipping manager, so he's gonna get all the stuff out.
Those benches are nice, man.
Yeah, I told you.
I can spin my thing and go tape, spin tape, spin tape.
If you want to hear more of Brock, you can go to conspiratobrock.com. That's where he has his pull list unboxing videos.
I haven't been posting as of late because
I know
my move screwed me up.
You'll get back on it.
Hopefully by the end of the year. If not, I'm just going to start fresh in the new year.
Yeah. Wanders in the Fourth Dimension. That's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. They've been doing weekly episodes now that the new season's out. And the weekly interview series called Between the Panels, which is over at fanbasepress.com. That is Kevin Sharp's interview series. Go check that out. Interview lots of cool new and upcoming comic creators, as well as some old favorites you probably recognize.
Yeah.
And my wife Leanne has her art all over Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art and LeanneHill.com. You can find her art on there. Go pick up some prints for Christmas, early Christmas. Well, not early at this point. It's almost
with the way they're talking about shipping, you need to have shipped it yesterday.
Yeah. If you're on Twitter, you can follow all of us. Ryan Higgins, Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. No. He should be back on some point.
Did you talk? Finish up and I'll ask you.
Charlie's Sanity and Chaos. The store is, Kevin Sharp is that Kevin Sharp. The store is Comics Con Store. And you can always listen to me every other week on the Geek Box, where we talk about all sorts of geeky stuff.
Now, including
bring up Adam Fitch.
Oh, what Adam
including Adam Fitch and Ryan Scott's endless discussion of Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne as Adam is playing those, and it's the only thing Ryan and Adam talk about, and me and Justin want to murder ourselves because we never want to hear about Dark Souls again.
So you want to play Star Wars Fallen Order? It's pretty much the same engine.
As Dark Souls?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, if you put it on hard,
like an action game.
It's a good game. It's just if you put it on hard, a lot of people have compared it to playing Dark Souls.
It's the Dark Souls of Star Wars. That is an episode. Thank you all very much for listening to this wonderful, wonderful podcast. And we'll see you.